Come on! 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 Come on!
And now, our feature presentation.
This is Ed McMahon. And now, here's Andrew.
Andrew Z. I love that Andrew Z. I said Andrew Z. In the morning, it's time to wake up. Andrew Z. In the morning, yeah. Come on!
Come on! What is up, everybody? Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is Tuesday, March 17th, 2020. It's our St. Patrick's Day show. It's our Pants Off Tuesday. If you're watching, you must participate with Pants Off. Got a big show for you tonight. Coleen is here. Sugar, Vermont, Denny Crum, Dickey, and our special guest, Pastor Ben Snyder.
Andrew Z. In the morning.
Woo! What is up, everybody? Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm Andrew Z. We are live. It's our the podcast, of course. Coleen is here. What's going on, Coleen?
Oh, just doing what I'm told.
Okay, good. That's the way it should be. We've also got Denny Crum. Are you there? Denny, yes, no.
Oh, come on. The funny one's not here?
Let's try.
Hey, hold on, what?
Jake Dickey, I hear him. And Sugar Vermont.
How do I get my own theme song? Because I'm pretty jealous.
Are you jelly? I'm a big deal. I hope.
Sugar, I can arrange that for you.
I don't know if you knew that. I'm a big deal, Sugar.
Please, God, I need a theme song.
Welcome, everyone. It's Tuesday night. It's St. Patrick's Day. You know, usually the two biggest nights in Toledo, and actually they start early in the morning, both of them, opening day and St. Patrick's Day. 2020 is going to have neither of those. Is that weird or what?
I can't believe I'm sober right now. It's St. Patrick's Day. I should have blacked out at like 3. I don't know what's going on.
It's just the weirdest thing. And of course, people are still selling jigs dinners at the restaurants for carry out. And I saw a couple restaurants online locally that actually had sold out of them, which was good. But Jake Dickey, I mean, you're a bartender. This is a big night for you usually.
Oh yeah. Usually I'm up to my ankles in $1 bills, but that's at the strip club.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the craziness of this past 24 hours, you know, Coleen has been, I think, shocked, although she won't say she's shocked, about how right I've been about everything over the last week.
Actually, I don't think that's true. I said that if you weren't smart, I wouldn't have married you.
Right, but I'd like to say this is secretly, though. I think you think that that you have to be a little bit surprised because everything I've said has come to fruition. You know, last Monday, was it a week? Yeah, a week ago Monday, I was making fun of this thing, and then I started to get calls on Tuesday from some high ups that that were saying, "Hey, it's coming down. This is the real deal." So then on Tuesday, I started telling everyone else on Facebook that it's a big deal. And then the media started freaking out about it. And then people thought the media was crazy. It's like, what are they freaking out about? And I was telling you guys that it's because they have inside information that that the government hasn't released yet, but it's going to be coming out in the next couple of days. And then Wednesday, it started to come out. And then it's just been snowballed from there. I said, we need to take care of the workers. We need to get checks in their hands. And now today they're talking about getting a check in everyone's hand within the next 2 weeks. At least $1,000 is the minimum that they're talking about. And I also said they had an $850 billion stimulus. I said that needs to be $1 trillion. And then this afternoon, the head of the secure whatever the hell he is, Mnuchin.
I actually said I thought Trump might have been trolling Andrew's page for suggestions.
and because they have now put in $1 trillion.
Which, if that's the case, Trump, I need a new car.
right?
If you're listening.
If he's listening, he's not going to give us anything. He's be shutting us down. So over the
No,
last,
he's mad at me.
well, I know, yeah, over the last 24 hours, what do you guys think? Anything that stands out that's been crazy about the last 24? Because every 24 hours is different with the world that we're living in now. Denny, or I'm sorry, Jake, you got anything?
Oh, I mean, I haven't even actually left the house today, but I did take a shower, so I'm pretty proud of myself for that one.
You've made it farther than Andrew.
Yeah, I've been I'm getting stir crazy for sure. Like, I'm not used to being in the house, and it's stressing me out, especially knowing that that if I'm not out doing anything, I'm not paying bills. Money is not coming in, and that is really starting to stress me out. And I know, Jake, you being in the what do they call it? What is it called? The
Hell? Being in hell?
Being in hell? No, the hospitality industry. You were eligible for unemployment. Did you go to try to take advantage of that yesterday or today?
I did. I actually filed for it this afternoon. It took me about an hour and a half-ish because the website kept crashing. Every time I would submit a new page, I'd have to reboot the page a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But you got it.
But that is in there.
Yeah, go ahead, Sugar.
When we say the hospitality industry, does walking the street count? Can I file for that?
Did you claim the wages?
No, I did not.
Then
They
you're
went right to the
screwed
bra.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So
No, that's one thing I was going to say. Hospitality industry people filing for unemployment. If I have many friends who are bartenders because I'm an alcoholic, but I know they don't claim
That's the first step.
most of their tips.
Right.
So you're not going to get unemployment on money that you haven't been claiming.
I know.
fortunately for Jake, he's a unicorn.
Yeah, Jake gets all his stuff goes through his paycheck.
Yeah, our whole paycheck is on everything goes on our paychecks. So I am one of the lucky few that this makes sense for me to do, actually.
But like Sugar was saying, 99% of those people, which is why when this is another thing I hate to say I was right on, but I was right on. Another thing was they talked about doing a payroll tax cut. That was what Trump was on. That's what Trump was on a week ago. And I said, in this gig economy, it's a gig economy, it's a hustle economy, it's it's a workers with a contractor economy. It's not a traditional economy anymore, and you're going to leave too many people out with a with a tax cut. That doesn't do it. You have to put money directly into people's pockets, and then that's when they came out today and said they're going to put money directly into people's pockets because, like you said, Jake, a server could make $500-$600 a week, but on her paycheck every 2 weeks it could be $150.
Right.
Because
that's the one thing that I tell you what I learned a few years ago when I was moving into an apartment and they were like, "Hey, let me see your paycheck stubs," and I was like, "That's not how I make my money." it really does make sense for you to claim 100% because you feel like you're losing more out of your paycheck, which I mean you do a little bit, but you get more. You'll get a refund at the end of the year. But I mean, honestly, It makes more sense because you're actually tracking your income. And if you want to do something in the future, like buy a house or rent, or if they need proof, then you have it. And it just makes more sense that way, honestly.
Well, and the problem is that, a lot of servers are younger and you just can't tell them that. They're all about, hey, I need the money today. I need the money today. And they don't think about the future. So,
and I was that way for, I mean, this was literally in the last 5 years that I was smart enough to wise up and be like, hey, you know what? This isn't going to help me in the future.
Well,
yeah.
And then
I hope one positive thing I hope happens is that people who get tips start paying your taxes.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's important.
It is.
People think it's not, but you're not paying into Social Security. You're not paying into that kind of stuff. And when you need the government, you can't come with a handout when you haven't been paying the same thing everyone else has.
Well, and of course you can't tell it to a 20-year-old, but your Social Security as well. Depending on how much you pay in is how much you get. So, when you're not paying in, it's gonna bite you in the ass later. But go ahead, Coleen. What were you gonna say?
So we have some comments. Jody Bloom actually brought a very good point up. Is that per family, per adult, per person? Somebody else said that they thought a child was $500.
It's all rumor and speculation right now. There has been nothing.
Yeah.
They haven't gone public with it. They've said that they're going to do it. We don't know any specification.
you.
Yeah, geez, coronavirus all over the.
I just caught it.
Jeez, bro. So I don't know. We don't know yet. But there has been talks about 1,000 for adult, 500 for child. But we don't know anything yet because they're still working through the process. It should be all finalized. We should know by tomorrow, but for sure by the end of the week, it should be a done deal. They're wanting to get checks in hands within 2 weeks. So
Well, and then like yourself and I, we share custody with the other parent.
right.
How would they even figure?
So you'll get $250 and somebody else will get $250.
Right, exactly. You just split it between the parents. I mean, it's the only way you can do
Okay, a
it.
couple more.
Or maybe you have to claim your favorite one. That's it.
Oh,
I
no.
can't claim my favorite one.
All right, what else? What other comments?
No, it's clearly your favorite child is Andrew. We all know that.
So Shannon, yes, there's a White Claw next to me. I'm locked in the house with Andrew for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
You think I didn't buy stock in that? Another small business owner is truly enjoying the podcast. Jen at Twice But Nice.
Oh, cool.
She's been really, really worried about this, and I shared with her the SBA loans and stuff along those lines so that we can try to help her because she's considered non-essential. She's a child resale shop.
Right, and that's one thing that Coleen and I were looking at today because of her businesses is they're hoping for those who can't make payroll that they can, because obviously if you don't make payroll, not only are you screwing your business, but you're screwing how many other families that work for you. So the government is trying to do a quick thing to be able to get money into business owners' hands so they can make payroll, not so they can go do whatever they want with it, but I think it's strictly payroll. But there are a couple different programs out there for small businesses that are rolling out like right now to be able to try to take advantage of. So we just don't know how. We've just never been through anything like this in our lifetime. I mean, the closest thing might have been 9/11, but it wasn't like this. It didn't affect so many people. To where right now every single state has someone with the coronavirus.
West Virginia does not.
No, they do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do. They got their
They do
first.
now.
They got their first one today. So every single state has got someone with it. So it's hitting so many different people this time than even 9/11. They were just, like I said, never seen anything like this. And I really think that in the next couple days, because people still aren't heeding the warning. If you look at beaches and you look at restaurants and some of the places that are still open, San Francisco is supposed to be a lockdown 24/7 for the next 2 weeks, and they just showed on the news people out, rollerblading and having a good time. So I really think that we are going to get the next step. They tried to treat us like adults on Friday, and we all went out and partied over the weekend on St. Patrick's Day. Then they try to keep treating us like adults, but they're going to keep taking stuff away until we actually take this serious. You're not going to be allowed to just put everyone else's life in jeopardy at some point.
Well, I mean, but honestly, though, what'd you expect when they're like, "Hey, the world's gonna end"? You're like, "Well, let's get shit faced."
I'm with you.
That's a good point. So
I would say the next thing that's coming down the line is a travel ban, a civilian travel ban. It's coming, and it's coming within a week.
I agree. I think this week. This week. Here's the thing. I've been doing the media a long time, and the reason I've been right on a lot of this stuff is because all you have to do is listen to the clues that they give. They can't spell it out because they know everything ahead of time because people are leaking it to them. And like I said, they are freaking out tonight about people not heeding the warnings of not gathering together. So the next step, it's already in the works. The next step is they're going to institute some sort of mandatory. Okay, you didn't listen. Here it comes.
Absolutely. I have a friend who does estate sales and stuff, and he got a call from the state verifying that he was not going to be holding these estate sales, that only so many people were allowed to gather, and he was talking on the phone with her, and she said if towns or cities or the entire states just disregard this, if people don't follow through, they absolutely will be putting people on lockdown.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that is the next step for people that aren't taking it serious. And like they said, like there was a doctor on today that said something great, and she said, look, the greatest generation or the older generation right now is depending on younger people to save them. Because the older people are heeding the warnings, the young people are the ones that aren't, and you're bringing it home to your parents or your grandparents or wherever you're going. Because this is, I think I've seen the most highly contagious disease that there has been. So take it serious, you guys, because they're going to make you take it serious at some point. If you don't have self-responsibility. What else? Oh, I want to talk about Jeep. So we talked yesterday. I got a message from a Jeep worker, very worried that, and I read it on the air yesterday, that all these Jeep workers are, in recirculated air. They're going into 1,000 cars, dozens of people into one car. And the sanitary conditions, they're making them clean their own area. They're giving them a bottle of like alcohol and some gloves, and here you go, clean your area. I posted a picture today on the Andrew Z in the Morning Facebook page. I don't know if you guys saw it, of a Chrysler bathroom where the hand sink was completely covered up with plastic, not working. And this is just irresponsible. You're picking profits over people, whether you're Jeep Chrysler, whether you're Whirlpool, whether you're Libby. You guys need to shut these factories down and let these people go home. And here's the hypocritical part: is the management is already working at home. So what kind of signal? What kind of signal are you sending to your workers if it's not safe enough for you to be there, but you're making your workers be there? It's absolutely ridiculous. I just can't believe it.
Well, didn't the plague spread through the peasants?
Absolutely, it did. You're right. Back in the day, that's old. Wow, an old school plague reference. Good job, Jake.
Funny, and he knows history.
I know. How are you single? How are you single, my friend? Sugar, how are you letting this man go?
Oh, hey, Daddy.
Hey, listen. Like I've been saying for months now, if you're a woman who's looking to lower your standards, I'm your man.
It can happen. Andrew's gotten married.
Oh my God, you're speaking my language. Do you come with canned goods? Do you come with canned goods and TP? Because I'm ready for marriage.
He might even have some distance.
There's so many dirty jokes there that I'm just going to skip.
So here's the thing about Jeep and these other factories. So here's the thing. So I post this about Jeep. Then I get 25,000 views of this post that I did, 350 shares. I'm getting probably 200 or 300 inbox messages saying, please continue to do this because you are the voice of us right now. We're too scared to speak out. And I have gotten some threatening messages as well saying you just need to shut up and leave this alone. Well, I'm not going to shut up and leave this alone because it's an important thing. It's a very important thing that we're doing, and we're going to stay on it. And like I said, whether you're Jeep, whether you're Whirlpool, whether you're Libby, workers should not have to work in factories right now. With this going on, that is not how you stem the tide of this curve. Coleen, were you say something?
So we have several comments coming in. Number one, Carla says that she thinks we're 2 weeks behind Italy. Somebody corrects her and says 11 days. TJ says all of the big three companies have auto workers with it now in Michigan.
Yeah, and I hear, and in a speculation, I have not confirmed this personally. I hear that the plant is still open. Well, they've had 3 people test positive at a plant in Michigan, and it's still open. Go ahead, Coleen. You were going to say something about that?
There's one more comment from somebody whose wife works there. They do the running boards and the bed liners on the Jeeps. They have no plans in place for a shutdown. In fact, they have gone from 4 10-hour days to 6 12-hour days. Jesus. And it's truly concerning.
Yeah. I tell you, I could read message after message. We could do the whole show on just messages of people that are upset right now that they have to continue to work in these conditions. There is a proposal out that the union now, before we hear the union was okay with these conditions, but now that the word is getting out, they're trying to
now that word is out.
Yeah, they're finally.
But that's how all unions work.
Yeah, they're finally having the back of their people. They're finally having the back of people. They have now sent a letter to the Big Three saying that there needs to be a 2-week work stoppage immediately. Now there has been no word on whether that's going to happen or not yet, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But again, the big one is the stimulus package, the money going into your pocket. Hopefully, it's supposed to go to small businesses, and we can't. For the first time, they're talking about the people on the street, and that's what we've been talking about for the last week. Before they were talking about bailing out airline industries and giving tax cuts and doing all this stuff. That doesn't do a damn thing for most people. But they're that far out of touch, and finally, they're seeing that the hospitality industry is getting killed. Today, Steve Mnuchin said 20% unemployment is possible after this happened. Remember, we were at the lowest unemployment in the history of this country at about 3% before this hit, and now he's saying by the time it's done, 20% unemployment, which is it's unimaginable. It's unimaginable.
So I'm imagining it, and it seems, and it imagines to be crazy.
Yeah, and it sucks. I agree.
It really does, because I mean, I'm a drag queen, so I work in the bars.
Yes,
like all the time.
Well,
and it's like my friends. It's my friends who are out of work, who are struggling, that I'm concerned about. And I know some kind of stimulus package will come down the line, but nobody knows what it will be or when it will be.
Right.
And a lot of these people just work shift to shift, paycheck to paycheck, and the savings is not going to last forever.
And the other thing you look at too is if you look at me, I talked about it yesterday. I counted like $500 a week in DJ gigs. I'm out 3, 4, 5 nights a week. Those are gone. There's no way for me to get compensated. Like I don't have a paycheck stub from that. I'm a contractor. What about all these other people? What about these flower shops that depend on weddings that aren't happening now because you can't have a gathering of more than 10 or 20 people, which is the worst wedding ever. Like you and 20 people are out there. It's the worst.
Is
wedding.
it though? Is it the worst wedding? Because then like half your family that you didn't want to be there, they don't have to be there.
Nope.
It's like,
you don't have to invite them. You're like, hey, the coronavirus guys, I would love for you guys to come.
Which is why we went to Disney.
If you're getting married in the coronavirus, it's not, instead of destination weddings, it's like elimination weddings.
I hate you, Jake.
Do you though? Do you?
But there's a whole industry of DJs and photo booths and flower people and caterers and all people. Bakeries. How do you get compensation for what you're losing out on? Again, which is why
I don't know if you noticed on Facebook today, there's been a lot of people, like a lot of musicians, like that I've just seen on my friends list, musicians and stand-up comics that are doing, videos, and they're posting like PayPal accounts. So if you like what you're doing, it's like they're virtually busking, and they're
which is a really cool idea. Except that right now people are holding on to their money because we don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Right.
That's the only issue with that. And same thing with the restaurants that are open for carry out. It's like I'm scared to spend $40 on it. Usually I would go for 2 people $50. I'm scared to spend that kind of money at home because I don't know what the hell's going on. So until they get this money in your hand, or until they say this is what's going to happen and you can count on something, it's going to even be hard even doing that. Although I do give props to the people that are doing that, because it is a really cool idea. I just don't know how much they're going to be able to make.
Like I said, I think I brought this up last night too. Is like one of the things you got to like think about is like how long are these restaurants going to be able to keep doing to-go food, because keeping the power on and keeping the gas up, and they might be only making like maybe $1,000 in sales a day.
Right, exactly. And the food part is the expensive part. It's the alcohol where they make the money. So if you're not making money off alcohol, then what the hell,
which a lot of places they're being allowed to, if their liquor license covers it, like I know ours does. You can do wine and beer to go. You can't do hard liquor,
right?
But you got enough to get the job done.
But still, the percentages of people that why are you going to buy wine or liquor from a restaurant when you can go to a carryout and get it cheaper? The point is the ambiance of the restaurant, and so you're especially if you're saving.
Although I think I saw that. I think it was on Souk's page. It's downtown Toledo. They're one of the new restaurants. I thought I think it was them. Said they were selling their liquor or their alcohol at retail.
Oh wow!
So they might not just to keep it flowing.
Sure, just to keep people there and pulling up a carryout.
And so when I was looking earlier today on the SBA and all of that, there is an actual buyback from liquor control in the state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we pulled all the liquor off the shelves.
But they're also
first day they did the closing.
Yep, they're also purchasing back your beer and stuff like that. It's a one-time opportunity for restaurant owners and bar owners to send back their alcohol. No questions asked as long as it's unopened. And it's until April 6th, I believe, that they have that opportunity. It's like March 14th to April 6th.
All right. Jake Dickey, go ahead, Sugar.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't understand what you guys are talking about restaurant ambiance. I usually bring my own box of wine to restaurants.
My own box.
And I get the big size box. I have a big ass purse. Don't worry about it.
Good.
But I bring my own box of wine, and I think the ambiance is just fine.
All right. Thank you, Sugar. All right, Sugar, Vermont, Jake Dickey. Jake Dickey, you guys hang on one second. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up on the other side of the break, Pastor Ben Snyder. The wisdom of this guy, I freaking love this guy. He's the lead pastor at Cedar Creek Church. And I just want to, in these times when everyone is stressed out, I want to see what Ben has to say. We're going to talk to Pastor Ben Snyder on the other side of the break. This is the Andrew Z. of the Morning, the podcast live. Hang on. All right, we're back. I'm trying to figure out my computers. My music and Ben are on the same computer. So let me do this. Ben's here. I know Sugar and Jake Dickey are back as well. And we've got Ben Snyder, Pastor Ben Snyder, lead pastor at Cedar Creek Church, on with us. Been kind enough to join us this evening. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing great.
You can't see me, can you?
I am watching you actually on delay.
Are you really? Oh, hi. I can see you. You look handsome as ever, Mr. Snyder, pastor. So, I wanted to get you on because I've had you on before for some tragedies that have taken place in 419, and you're always there to answer the call, and you always say the perfect things at the perfect times. So I thought I would turn to you and just ask you, what the hell is going on in this country right now, Pastor Snyder?
That's a great question. I think even among pastors, we're all sitting here going, okay, what's the playbook on this?
Right. Well,
I think the message of help and hope that people are craving right now is one that we're all willing to step into. But when it comes to what is going on, that's probably a broader question than we can accurately see right here in this moment. Typically, you've used the phrase hindsight's 20/20. You seem to understand a little bit more when you look back, not always when you're in the middle of the crisis. And so I think what's really, really important for me personally, but also for the people that I interact with is, and I'm not just trying to throw like a cheesy Frozen 2 line at you, even though it's playing nonstop at my house on Disney Plus. But it's really, what is it that I need to focus on today? Because the what ifs, as fun as they are to talk about, and I'm fine with talking about them, if that becomes where you get stuck all day long, you actually miss a lot of incredible opportunities to be helpful, to be purposeful, to experience some of the good things that are right here all around us. It's not bad to go outside and go running. The CDC actually recommends that we get outside and exercise as long as we have good social distancing between other people. It actually helps us get better. And so today was a perfect day to get outside and go for a solitary walk or a walk with your kids or whatever. So, it's like when you start to focus on those simple things right in front of us, I think it helps.
Talking to Pastor Ben Snyder, the Cedar Creek Church. Now, Pastor Ben, a couple things. I know people are now locked in their house for hours and hours, and I know a lot of them are just financially stressed out. And now you don't have the things that you did before to take your mind off it because you're just sitting at home thinking about it. That's one side of it I want you to speak on. The other side is once we do let that go, and I think if we really do get checks in hand, I think that's going to help a little bit, because on the other side of it, man, maybe we just need to reset our lives anyway. Maybe that's a calling here. Maybe it's like, wow, we were too busy. Maybe we need to appreciate each other more. Maybe we need to enjoy the kids a little more. Now, this is forcing us to do it. Maybe this God's signal. Maybe it's a reset.
Yeah, I think there's all sorts of questions that we can be asking individually, and I think those questions are going to be different for all of us.
Colleen?
So,
go ahead, Pastor Ben.
Yeah, one of those questions may be, how have I been setting up my life financially? There's a lot of conversation. There's a lot of biblical wisdom, but also just plain business sense conversation or personal finance conversation, which is you should have an emergency fund, which means I probably need to live on a little bit less than what I'm making and intentionally stash some aside for seasons like this. I know the people who have done that, whether they're religious or not, they have a different level of peace in this season. They are still feeling the unsettledness. But when you're paycheck to paycheck or overspending your paycheck, which I know for some people, I know it can be really simple to say this. For some people, it's just hard to even get ahead. Generational poverty is a real thing. And but some people are in this place where, we just probably need to adjust what we're doing financially.
Coleen, did you have a question for Pastor Ben?
I did. So I struggle with anxiety, and I have probably been the calmest person around for it. So my question is, do you think that people, like you said, what ifs, if that's as far as you get, like I struggle with what if scenarios in my head all day, every day, 365 days a year. So I've been really, really calm throughout this whole thing. And I'm just curious if like you have something for the people with anxiety, because we never know what's going to happen next. So we're just trying to stay calm.
Yeah, I think I think that means maybe that the way that you're stepping into this is you're giving voice to some of your concerns in this platform without getting stuck in them. That may be something that's helping you not get stuck in the what ifs. We have a phrase where it's like your feelings are true, but they don't always tell you the truth. And so you can't just turn off your feelings. In fact, that's dangerous. But finding an environment where you can share your feelings without them becoming the absolute truth in your life, I think, is a healthy way to navigate that. We had a great series called Anxious for Nothing last year. I think it was in September, and we just kind of talked through that. That may be a great resource for people if you're feeling like you're struggling with anxiety. I would say even if you're not religious, the content there, I think, is practical. It's helpful. I think it's positive and encouraging. And for me, what's fun is it's biblical too. I mean, it's rooted in ancient teachings that go all the way back to Jesus. So
there was one time too that I remember you saying, Ben, and back in the day, 10 years ago, I thought I had everything going for me. I had a nice house and the family and all this stuff. And once all that crashed, you had a great sermon about building a foundation, but if the foundation isn't solid, then you're going to end up having issues at some point in your life. And maybe that's where some people are right now. Like you said, financially, if you're struggling, you're doing this, maybe this is a chance to build your foundation better. Use this time to build a stronger foundation, so when things do get back to normal, you're in a better spot, not a worse spot.
Yeah, I think you're right on. Ultimately, I think the key question that I think I'm trying to encourage people to evaluate is we all place our faith in something, even if you're not, even if you don't consider yourself like religious.
Right.
By faith, I mean you're trusting something or someone to guide the direction of your life. It may be yourself. It may be what you're doing on the weekend. I think the more we can evaluate what it is that we're trusting in and what kind of foundation that is, that it's really the source of your foundation that determines the depth of your peace in your life.
I totally agree. Pastor Ben, on a well, let me see if Sugar or Sugar Vermonte or Jake Dickey, you guys have a question for Pastor Ben?
I would just like to
My
apologize.
question is that somebody blowing their nose?
No, I don't. I think no. It was a weird noise on the equipment. Go ahead, Sugar.
No, I would just like to apologize to Pastor Ben for all of my jokes about being a streetwalker during the first segment.
Good. Well, good.
No problem.
I'm not apologizing for anything. I stand firm in what I believe.
Pastor Ben is very forgiving. That's why I love him. You know, he's very
Well, that's his job. That's what he's all about.
Well, he's very non-judge. Well, no, there are
judgy pastors.
There are men of the cloth that are judgy. Pastor Ben is not one of them because he still comes on my show. So he has been he has stood by me through anything. So that's actually we are so fortunate to, and I'm just saying we're so fortunate to have you here every week and to be able to just fortunate, man. The way that you talk to people, the way talk with people really is what it is. It's just Coleen and I have gone to Cedar Creek and we're like, how is every time we go there, Pastor Ben is talking about us?
Yes, I swear, every single time. And like we won't go for months. Don't like kill us or anything.
Well,
but
his job is to talk about the devil.
How dare you? How dare you, Jake?
I wonder if you want a loan if that would happen, Andrew.
I don't know, but every time he hits us right between the eyes.
And we just like look at each other and we're like, how?
How does he do that?
Every time.
It's so true.
Yeah, two things. For some reason, people think when I show up, a public confessional needs to arrive and they need to start declaring all of the things that they're sorry about. So Sugar and Jake, you guys are fine, or whatever.
Jake didn't apologize.
Or what? He said or whatever. He said or whatever.
I already knew I was fine.
I could tell. But yeah, this is great.
All right, now, Pastor Ben, on a practical note, what are you doing about church? Did you have church this past weekend? Are you having church coming up? How are you dealing with this not having crowds gather? I mean, obviously you were on the forefront of at home, on broadcast medium doing it. So are you relying more on that stuff now that you already built that foundation, which is actually shows how smart you guys were?
Yeah, I think I think one of the blessings of Cedar Creek is we're not married to the method. We're committed to the message. And I think if you get too overly committed to the method of which you do church and not the message, then you get locked in on things that keep you stuck. So being online years ago, we were one of the first churches probably in the region to try that. And man, it really benefited us this past weekend. We saw a significant increase in online engagement. And our team is really equipped to respond in that way. In fact, we're offering our kids services now online. We have an addiction ministry here is to bring help and hope. And so I would say, if you want to attend, you can engage with us online. We rebroadcast every odd hour, the whole service all week long. If you can't meet at a church that you're used to going to, join us for a season. And then when services start back up, join them. That'd be great. So we're excited about this opportunity to serve a community that we care a lot about.
Pastor Ben Snyder from the Cedar Creek Church, the lead pastor. One last thing before you go, Pastor Ben. So what should we take away as we're sitting at home? Give us some words of wisdom to tell us, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this the way you do. And I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I think that you're up to the task.
Yeah, I was thinking about there's a story that many people have heard that I talked about last weekend. It's the Sunday school story of Jesus walking on the water. And before we get caught in I don't know if that story actually happened or not, the story, the way that it's told, gives us clues that I think are helpful. that really peace, I would say, is found in your relationship with God more than the absence of storms. Don't get me wrong, the absence of storms feels peaceful, but the foundation of your life, really, this is a golden opportunity to kind of recenter. I do believe that this will pass. I don't know how long it will take before it passes, but our country and I would say humanity is resilient. If you're asking where is God at in all of this, I would say begin to look at the people, not all, but many people of faith are like, hey, how can we help? When you start looking for purpose instead of paranoia in the midst of the crisis that we're in, you actually see golden opportunities to connect with your neighbors in new ways, to have purpose. And I think when you begin to shift your perspective and how can I make a difference now? Wow, I think that's a game changer. And now you're not just focused on, oh crap, what's going to happen to me? It's really, we're all in it together. How can we help each other? For example, my neighbor works for the Red Cross, and one simple practical way that we can really support our community, she was just telling me that they were down like 86,000 donations, or 8,600, I think. I may be misquoting the numbers. An enormous amount of donations for blood. They still need those. It's still safe to give blood. And so those are practical ways that you can make a difference now. And that's just one of dozens, that you've already highlighted a lot of those.
Well, it's such a great point, Pastor Ben, because that's one place that I feel helpless, because I always feel like when there's something going on, when someone's hurting, when there's a crisis, when there's an issue, I love to engage and help and bring people behind me and let's do this together and let's move in. This is one of those things where you almost can't do that because you can't have a lot of people together to do that. So,
but the United Way, like now, the United Way is putting sack lunches together to help kids who have food scarcity issue. Oh. They're going to take care of all of the social distancing issues.
Right.
And they're still going to provide an opportunity for us to have purpose. I see a lot of people doing fun videos on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, just like you're doing now. I think Mo Willems for my kids is doing a doodle hour every day at noon. And so they're just little things that we can do to keep engaging with each other and stay connected. Isolation is dangerous. Scrolling through your feed all day long, I think, can take you to some pretty dark places.
I told Coleen, Coleen, you got to get off your Facebook feed. It's because for some people,
yeah, but she's calm.
It's true.
I am super calm, which is very shocking.
Yeah, for some people, it freaks you out. But Pastor Ben, I appreciate you. I don't know if this is past your bedtime, but it's obviously very late. But a pastor's always on call, so.
Past my bedtime. It's not even 10 o'clock.
Right? Oh.
It is way past mine.
I know. we try to go to bed with the kids. So we got to get up early. But thank you so much for taking time, man. Hopefully we can talk to you again in a few days and as this progresses, because I think you bring a calmness to us, and we appreciate that. And like I said, you're so good at what you do, and thank you for taking time to talk to us, man.
Andrew Z, Coleen, thank you so much. Jake, Sugar, nice to meet you, and all of you listeners. Let's keep going through. We're going to get through it.
Nice to meet you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.
You bet.
Pastor Ben Snyder, lead pastor of the Cedar Creek Church. What a great dude. All right, you guys. I want to real quick. Denny Crum has.
Hey,
go ahead, man.
One thing, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you? I didn't get a chance to ask him, but like, if Jesus were here now in this time with the coronavirus, he could only hang out with 10 of his disciples, which 2 do you think he'd be like, all right, you got to go?
Bye, Judas. Bye, Judas. You got to go.
Judas.
I'm kind of surprised.
He's got to cut one more.
I'm kind of surprised that Sugar knew any of the disciples' names.
That's on Paul. I don't know. Paul.
How dare you, Coleen?
But I do have a question. Pastor Ben mentioned Doodle Hour, and I just want to know where I can sign up for that.
You just jump online. He says doing it online. You can do it. You can do it with pants or sans pants, however you want to do it.
Now I do have friends that doodle online. And they make good money.
Okay, all right.
I think it's a different type of doodle.
Different kind of doodle. All right, let's go over to Denny Crum. Denny Crum is on the phone with us now. He works at Jeep.
What's up, Denny?
Denny works at Jeep. He's also a assistant union steward. We talked earlier about the problems going on at Jeep and people, blowing up my inbox about not thinking that they shouldn't have to work in those conditions. The UAW sent work. Or a letter to the Big Three saying that we want an immediate 2-week work stoppage. And Denny, now you kind of have an update, maybe, Denny?
Yeah, the UAW just released a. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The UAW just released a statement on their website. I'll read it to you guys. It says, as you know, the UAW has strongly requested the big three automakers cease production for the next 2 weeks to safeguard our members, the workforce that makes their products, and our communities. We spent hours in talks with the leadership of the big three, demanding that they do the right thing for our members. All three companies have agreed to new measures that will increase adherence to CDC recommendations on social distancing in the workplace. Most importantly, all three companies have agreed to review and implement the rotating partial shutdown of the facilities, extensive deep cleaning of facility and equipment between shifts, extend periods between shifts, and extensive plans to avoid member contact. They will be working on shift rotation to minimize risk. The companies have also agreed to work with us in Washington, D.C. on behalf of our members as we manage the disruption in the industry. In order to enact these changes, each company will be working with UAW vice presidents to implement these improvements and, most importantly, arranging shifts to be set to adhere to CDC required social distancing and protection of members. We expect more detailed information to be released in the next 24 hours. I thank all of you for your strength during these days.
So basically, they're saying, because it's hard for me, there was so much there, but I think they said they're gonna they're gonna clean and sanitize between each shift. Did I hear that?
Yeah.
And they're gonna shorten the shifts so that the people aren't crossing each other.
That's not. I mean, there's no. They didn't release a whole lot of details about the plan in particular. It seems like the details are going to be coming at a later date. But it did say that they were going to be doing some things to try to keep us a little further away from each other, because there are people that work closer to each other, particularly on the assembly line.
A couple questions. Number one, is this a proposal, or is this already been approved by the big three? And if it has been approved, is it going to be implemented immediately?
From what I understand, it seems to be an agreement between the International Union and the big three. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take to implement, though.
Does this?
This is all new to me. This isn't anything. I haven't spoken with anybody. I just saw someone just sent me the statement. Through a text message.
Okay,
maybe 10 minutes ago.
Let me ask you this, Denny. I know that you were a little concerned about the plant staying up as well. You think that they should have closed. Would this take care of your worries? What you're reading there, if that is all implemented, does that take care of your worries? Or are you still leaning towards we should be shutting
completely?
Down?
No. Because here's the thing. I mean, like I've always said, like the best way to prevent STDs and pregnancy is abstinence, and the only way that you're 100% going to, the only way that we're going to 100% prevent spread of this particular disease in our workforce will be to shut down, in my opinion.
Is abstinence?
Now, I'm open to listening to what they have to say. I'm never a closed-minded person. I'm ready to hear ideas and things like that.
This is breaking news that I haven't heard from any medical professional, Jake Dickey. The only way to prevent coronavirus is abstinence.
Well, we're screwed, Andrew.
Well, hey, then you need to call Chris Tiefel. I think he's your advisor on this one.
I think you're right.
Chris Tiefel's abstinent, but not by choice.
Go ahead, Sugar.
Look at he's even absent from the show right now.
I know. Sugar, what were we gonna say?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. All right.
I do remember.
Okay.
No, I do remember. I think some of this sounds like BS.
It does.
When they're just saying, "Oh, we're going to implement new procedures, and there's going to be better cleaning." It sounds like BS to get them through another week of not shutting down the plant.
I totally agree. Here's what it sounded like. Now that you say that, Sugar, you are a genius, because here's what it sounds like to me. Tell me if I'm right, Denny, because someone texted us earlier. They said that they've even increased shifts from 4 days to 6 days, from 10 hours to 12 hours. It sounds to me like they're trying to get more vehicles done. This is a way to appease, give us another week or so to get some stock ahead, and then shut down.
That person that texted you must work for a supplier.
Yes.
Because they can't increase our shifts longer than 10 hours.
Okay. Well, I think they did work for a supplier, but
they did. But just like they provided the drinking water and stuff like that, I just like they provided the drinking water and all of that good stuff. It's probably just a bunch of words to make people happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't even think it's going to. I don't think that that's going to make workers happy. I think what's going to do is make them look like they've done something. It's more of a PR thing than it is anything. Hey, we're going to keep working. We're going to keep our people working. But it looks like we've done something, so we can at least say, hey, we've done this. And I don't know. It does sound like a lot of BS.
That's them appeasing the public.
I'm going to reserve judgment until I hear what they did.
Yeah.
That's just I don't want to come out and say, oh, they're not doing enough, because I don't know what I don't know what they're gonna do.
Right, no, I got you.
I know I'm going to show up until further notice, though.
I got you. All right, now going away from and I want everyone kind of like your last thoughts of the night as we wrap this thing up. Denny, over the last 24 hours since we spoke last night, non-Chrysler related, what has been anything that stood out to you over the last 24 hours that with this whole thing going on that comes to mind?
Well, I'm a big sports guy. They have officially closed WrestleMania down. It was supposed to be held in the 75,000 seat stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida, and now it's WrestleMania for the first time. I mean, the biggest wrestling event of the year. It's usually between 70 to 100,000 fans that attend this event every year. It's going to be in a closed venue. 0 fans will be in attendance, and it's just going to be streamed on their network.
Well,
so that's going to be very strange to watch. I mean, I can't imagine, the image of Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant without 90,000 fans jumping up out of their seats. So I mean, it's going to be very weird to see. And then Kevin Durant,
you're going to hear them yell. You're going to hear them yell at what move. Hey, body slam.
He tested positive.
Well, here's the thing: is that I don't know why they would have not let people there, because if abstinence brings coronavirus, people people that watch WrestleMania, that is the ultimate in abstinence, I would say.
I was saying abstinence prevents pregnancy. So like I was trying to make a comparison there.
I know what you're doing.
But then the thing that they said with the NBA players, they said like 4 of the 6 players or whatever that have tested positive showed no symptoms at all.
Well,
when Idris Elba announced that he had coronavirus the other day, he said that he wasn't showing any symptoms. So the crazy thing is, like, how many people do have this and just aren't showing the symptoms and are out here spreading it?
Well,
that's one of the scary things.
Here's the weird thing to me is I watched Charles Barkley on television about a week or so ago before they had canceled the NCAA tournament. And I think it's even before they canceled the NBA season. But he's saying, look, these players are sweating all over each other. They're breathing on top of each other. He goes, this is not a healthy environment. I am really surprised that WrestleMania is even going to go on even without spectators. I'm really surprised, because they're on top. They're basically humping each other. I mean, I just can't imagine that but
trust me.
But every 24 hours,
knowing Vince McMahon the way I've heard of him over the years, I don't want to act like him and I are best friends. But the fact that they actually got him out of that stadium is a rather large victory in itself. So I mean, if you would have left this strictly up to Vince McMahon, and knowing everything that we know, Vince McMahon would have 100% held it in that stadium.
All right, Jake Dickey, you got any final thoughts before we go tonight?
Yeah, I'm just. I know you said beware of your Facebook scrolls, but there's a lot of cool people out there. A lot of my friends that are stand-up comics, they don't have gigs. I know a few people are online. They're trying to sell some of their merch, their T-shirts, their records, their albums.
Oh, cool.
If you got the extra money, if you can do it, help these guys out. Make a purchase of one of their merchandise items.
That's awesome. Sugar Vermont, you got anything for us? Final thoughts?
Just beware of the Facebook, beware of the fake news.
I know.
I have like 8 friends today who shared allegedly some Kroger thing where they were going to select these people to shop for free in their stores, blah, blah, blah. And it was complete fake news.
Yeah.
The page wasn't verified. It was created today. It was just nonsense. So beware of fake news. Don't get crazy on your clicking.
Stop sharing fake stuff, you dummies. All right, Coleen, final thoughts?
Can we hurry this up so we can not practice abstinence?
Oh, well.
Oh, my God.
And there we go. Yeah, we got it.
That was actually one of the best jokes that I did see online, was that in 9 months there's going to be a whole,
like how
baby boom, and they're going to call them coronials.
My tubes are tied. They ain't coming from us.
What are they calling them?
Coronials.
Coronials instead of millennials. That's awesome. All right, thank you, Denny Crum. Appreciate you, my friend. All right, and thank you, Sugar Vermont. Thank you as always, Mr. Jake Dickey. We appreciate you. And of course, Coleen, thank you as much. And of course, thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll be back again tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Goodbye, everybody. Come on! Come on!